Hello and welcome to SML Total Access. My name is Primetime Triple Zero, and with me today are my two trusted co-hosts, Dan and Matt. What's going on, fellas?
Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, 20 years I've been waiting for the Mariners to make the playoffs, so this is going to be my best episode ever. They're
Let's
finally in.
do it. Yes. And hey, first down in SML Total Access. Let's talk about some guys who are struggling, and maybe we can inspire them. And Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with maybe the low-hanging fruit here. But he outside of Coop, he's the first SML member I met at the meetup, and that is KJ. He's got a special place in all of our hearts. But
Yeah.
right now he's got a special place in the lost column because that's all he's got.
Wow.
But I think he's on the right track, but then he just spirals off of it. He's in close games, and then he throws picks. He changes his camera angle, and it just all snowballs.
Mm-hmm.
So KJ, I think you need to look at your team. I think you need to understand what your team is extremely good at, and look at your abilities. You have two unicorns in this game, and I'm gonna start with Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald plays defensive end for you almost the entire game. That's not the place to put him. Go into your rush defensive tackle settings. It's at the very end of your depth chart. Put him at defensive tackle. That'll put him at defensive tackle on your nickels and your dime packages. He has a pressure ability where he can pressure the quarterback from a greater distance. Nobody's rolling out in this Madden. Everyone's stepping up. You can get pressure up the middle with Aaron Donald and wreak havoc. I know he has 10.5 sacks, but he's better used up the middle. Guys love shotgun runs. He's going to help you there. The inside zones, do it. Jalen Ramsey has one step ahead. Defenders with this ability react faster against cuts and man coverage. Play more man. You play too much zone. Man is better. When you man up, look at who Jalen Ramsey is covering. Ignore that side of the field with your user because let Jalen Ramsey do his thing. And if he gets beat, he gets beat. It is what it is. And take away the rest of the field. Stop throwing picks. That's the number one. You have 30 something of them already. Goodness gracious. Get Cooper Kupp involved. He's got played 10 games. He's got 17 catches. Get him involved. Get these great players that the Rams have involved because you don't have much else on that team. So if you're ignoring the greats and not using them to their strengths, you don't have a shot.
All right. Dan,
Nice,
what do you
nice.
got?
I think
That's
that's good.
stuff. Yeah.
That's good. Hopefully, KJ takes that to heart, and the don't throw interceptions. I think could be shared with probably about 25 other owners. But anyways, I'm going to the AFC East, and I'm looking over at DW, and everyone knows, hey, if I come at you pretty hard, I'm probably coming at you trying to hopefully inspire you to do a little bit better. I kind of laughed last week when Prime made a comment about DW being in the playoffs because even though his record was 4-2, I just didn't see the gameplay matching up, and he's had a rough week. DW, I know we've talked a little bit in the DMs, but I want to say this publicly. You got to understand who you have. It's almost the same thing that KJ needs to hear. What Matt said. You got to recognize you got Josh Allen, you got Diggs. You got to use them in the simplest ways possible. Don't try to get complex. Don't try to do free form. Just work on those guys. Use your running game. Trust your defense. Keep things as simple as possible. And then the biggest thing you got to learn is when you see defenses start to adjust. Maybe they start cheating. Maybe they start moving up. Maybe they start playing underneath. That's when you go over the top. That's when you tack them and you do something. So identify the coverages. See what they're in. If it's man, if it's zone, cover 3, cover 2, cover 4, all these kind of things. You got to identify them and then know right where, hey, I'm going here. I'm going there. If it's not there, then maybe I'm taking off or I'm doing something. Keep it simple. I believe in you, DW. I think you can be a force in this league. Let's see it. Let's start making some things happen.
Yeah, one thing about DW I want to say is he's part of the Thanos Club, and I don't know how much he uses the Thanos book or some of their schemes, but one thing you got to keep in mind is just because something works for somebody else does not mean it'll work for you. Everybody likes different things, and everybody reads the fields differently. So maybe he's trying some Thanos stuff that just doesn't fit him. Now, I'm looking at Biz, and I see some potential in Biz because I think he plays okay defense. I know statistically he's not the best, but this Bears team is pretty talent void. He runs the ball fairly well with Montgomery, who's not an elite back by any means. Justin Fields has thrown 23 interceptions and he's fumbled it 5 times. I think what I see the most with Biz is just a little bit inconsistency offensively. Sometimes he wants to be that down the field thrower, and then other times he wants to be check down Charlie. And I think he needs to establish an identity and say, hey, I am not an elite passer, so let me just focus on working the tight end more. He doesn't work the tight end all that much. He hits the running back quite a bit, but I think a tight end is a great asset for a player who is not an elite passer, and I think he should use the tight end more. And I think that if he really dials in some more intermediate passes, I think that would suit him better. And all 3 of these players, I'll say this, I'm working on SML to break down KJ and Death Wish right now. All 3 of these players are going to be my first 3 episodes of SML to break down, and I'm going to go in on how to not throw interceptions, because all 3 of these guys kind of have an interception problem. And Matt hit the nail on the head when he said, hey, these guys need to stop throwing interceptions. Well, I'm going to talk about how they can stop throwing these interceptions, and I think it'll be great because I see potential in all 3 of these guys, and I don't see potential in some guys who have better records than them. I think these guys all have talent, and I think they're all going to grow this cycle.
Yeah, I want to touch on something you both said because you're both really good players and you both said the exact same thing. Don't do or throw to what the defense is giving you. Don't throw to the guy you want to throw to. Don't throw the route you want to throw. When you snap it, fine. And I got to work on this too. But throw what the defense is giving you. If you watch Prime, if you watch Dan, if you watch QP, if you watch Faz before Madden 23, you like they identify who is open. They don't care who it is. Prime doesn't care if it's Pittman, Pierce, Jelani Woods. He doesn't care. He finds out who is open and he throws the ball. Don't play favorites when you're throwing. It's not a good thing.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good stuff. Let's move on to second down now. And this is a topic kind of near and dear to my heart because I see it in chat every so often. And that is the conversation of when people do things for the league. It could be anything. It could be an article or a poll or a graphic or a spreadsheet or whatever it may be. And then other people, or even maybe just being active in chat, and other people kind of digging at them for it. I don't think that's cool. And Dan, do you have any? You're obviously league commissioner, league admin, have all the history doing that stuff. What's your thoughts on that kind of thing?
I think it's a great topic, and it's one on the field, off field. So we're talking really more off the field. And evals came out, guys picked where they picked, and some guys were pretty upset with that. And again, you can sit there and you can be upset about it, you can hold your breath, you can complain about it, or you can do something about it. You can make improvements. It's an opportunity to be better. It's a new cycle, fresh start, and I think some guys are doing that. I'm really looking at Dump as one of the guys that has really kind of done a 180 here a little bit in chat and participation and activity, and he still kind of brings a little bit of that fire, but it's a controlled fire. Yes. It's not an obnoxious fire. It's really good, and I'm impressed. I even made the comment I think the other day, like, hey, Dump and I are friends. Like, we've chatted in the DMs and helped each other out a little bit, and I think this is a good new Dump, and he's working hard. And I think anyone trying to mock him or say, well, he's only doing this for the first month, or he'll stop doing this, or he's only doing it for, like, give the guy a break. Like, hey, he's improving, he's making some good changes, and I really think some of these guys that are putting effort in, like you said, and it might not be your cup of tea, or it might not be the thing that you enjoy. Hey, if they're putting effort in, they need to be praised for it.
Yeah, Matt, what do you think, bud?
Yeah, I see it both ways. So real quick, we're in a league with 31 other guys, and that atmosphere, I know I've said it before, all my guy friends, we never say anything nice about each other, that's how I know they like me. But the trick there, and I do the same to them, but the trick there is balance. It's all fun and games to poke fun at people. We all do it, and I think that's part of the camaraderie. But when QB or Dump or Meats post something in chat that's providing for the league, and every single time they do it, they get just absolutely dumped on, no pun intended. Like they get attacked, and it's like, man, you guys don't have to do this every time. It just kind of gets old, and I'm sure it gets deflating for them. I certainly wouldn't like it, especially the effort they're putting in. If I had Meats' graphic design capabilities, I'd make graphs all the time, or graphics all the time. The best thing I can do is a tweet with a picture from Google. I mean, that's my contribution, and if I could make graphics, I would. I think where I come from here, Prime, is I struggle when those guys are putting out content and the guys making fun of them are not. Um,
Hmm.
it's not easy to put out content. It's not easy to come up with good ideas. I mean, I struggle to come up with ideas on this show. You guys do the bulk of that work. It's not easy. And, a lot of the content sometimes comes from the same individual. So when you're making fun of someone for putting out content and you yourself aren't putting out any, because some of these guys aren't putting out any outside of their tweets, which I consider the bare minimum, it's a little deflating. And I feel kind of bad for those guys. And, I appreciate the effort they put in.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's a balance. I love giving people a hard time, and I love being cocky and chatting and having a good time, but I'll also kind of throw in a few bones to some people. Like, for example, Biz. I'm going to be nice to Biz here on the show, and I'm going to give him some credit, but probably in about 10 days here, I'm gonna give Biz a hard time, and I think it's that tug and pull a little bit, and like you guys said, when it's just a constant negative, just bringing somebody down, I don't think it's cool when they're just trying to be better, and they're not complaining about a bad eval score. They're trying to do more, and they're doing it the right way. That, like, what do you want them to do? Just complain? Like, if they're actually trying to be better. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
Unless you're talking kickoff returns, then you're going to get crapped on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh, let's move on to third down here on Total Access, and who's gonna make and miss the playoffs? We got some really tight races here, especially for some divisions and even the wild card spots. Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so the races are tight in both conferences, but I kind of went with the AFC here because I took the easy way on this one. Um, I think that as it sits right now, I think Noel is going to miss the playoffs.
Wow.
He's 7-3, but we all know that's a 6-4 record. Not that it matters because he's 7-3 on the game and on Neon, but he's 7-3. And he actually has a little bit of a tough schedule coming up. He's got Clink next. He's got
Ooh.
RD, who's playing really well with that team, shockingly. He's then got Bean, who might be pulling it together. Um, he's got Field, who I've seen glimpses from Field. I know he's extremely busy, and that's probably a win, but you never know. He's got Dom. He's got Doink, who's in a big race with Woods, and he's going to want to win that game. And then he's got Colt, who beat the living well, he didn't beat the living daylights out of him, but he beat him last time. So I think Noel's going to falter down the stretch. His record is a mirage right now because he's definitely 6-4, and I think that taking his place is going to be RD.
Wow.
Just kind of came out of nowhere. We all know what RD's capable of, and me more than anybody because I've played with him for so many years. Um, but he's playing really well. He is a dot machine with Mills. I played him, and I mean, I have the Chargers, and he was just dotting me up, making quick reads and everything. He's running the ball well. Pierce is an absolute perfect back for RD with that size and that strength. And I think RD is gonna make some noise here down the stretch. I think he sneaks in.
Hmm. Dan?
Yeah, I think you're breaking down the right conference. I think the NFC's done. There's some division battles that are going to go on, but the top seven are the top seven.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of a boring conference going from here on out because that's pretty much over and done with. I do think the AFC is interesting because you've got not only what you just mentioned in the AFC North, but the AFC West with QB Stud and with you, Matt.
I respect Matt.
You got a tough schedule, Matt, if I'm correct. I think you got still Q, you got QB, you've got Prime. Anyone else in there that's pretty tough?
I know I have all three of those individuals. I don't think
Yeah.
there's anybody else.
So that's three tough games there. And then you look at what Faz is doing, you look at what RD's doing, you look what Bean's doing. It's going to be interesting. So one of the guys, it's going to either be you, QB Stud, it's going to be Noel Colt, Bean, not Colt, sorry, Bean, Faz, RD. One of those guys is going to miss, and I think it's going to be, and one of you guys it's going to be a good team. It's going to be a team that the Browns. Hey, they're a loaded team. They should be making the playoffs. The Bengals, they should be making the playoffs. The Chargers should be making the playoffs. but yet one of these guys is not going to make it, and it's going to be kind of a battle going down. I think RD, I think he's got 2 tough games left. I think Faz might have 1 or 2 tough. So those guys have some easy schedules. Bean's got an easy schedule. I think some of these guys that have the harder schedules, and I'm looking at Matt. I think he might be in a little bit of trouble because some of that harder schedule.
Wow. I'm looking at this conferences, and I look at a team like the Colts, who are undefeated without an elite team. What an owner that must be. But just looking at these teams right now, I'm looking at the NFC, and I just want to point this out. 2 Primer Posse teams, actually, 4-6 Panthers, and not the Bucks, excuse me. The Commanders are 4-7. Doink made a promise that at least 2 are going to make it, and it looks like the 2 in the NFC are going to miss. Interesting stuff there. But I'm looking at the AFC, and I am looking directly at Null Overlord for missing, and I'm looking at possibly, just depending on how things shake out, Faz missing the playoffs. I know he's been playing better as of late, and that's good for him. But he still has some opponents that aren't easy out. He's got Grams, who's been playing a little bit better. He's got Bomber. He's got RD. He's got Pauly. And you say what you want about Pauly, but he does not like Faz. He'll step up for that game. And he's got Freight Train in NYT twice. So watch out for those games and potentially Faz missing the playoffs and having RD, or even, yes, I'll say it again, Fens or Death Wish making the playoffs. I think that'll be interesting stuff in the AFC.
Yeah, can you edit out that last part? You probably should edit that last part. DW and Fins ain't making playoffs. Come on, man.
Mark my words.
Come on, edit that last part out.
Mark my words. I'll say it, and I'll say it again. I'm going undefeated this season, and either Fens or Death Wish make the playoffs. Mark it down.
Yeah, you just lost all credibility right there.
I was on board with Fins until I looked at the rest of his schedule. Yeah, he might win like 1 or 2 more games.
I didn't even look at his schedule, and I don't need to. Let's move on to 4th down. Halfway through season 1, which conference is better? We talked about who's in, who's out, kind of thing. Dan, which conference? AFC, NFC, which is better?
Yeah, that is a great question right now. It might be, unfortunately, the only time we might be able to answer this question, because I think for the cycle, the AFC is gonna ultimately dominate the NFC. But for right now, if I'm looking and just doing a quick, hey, who's my power ranking? I got Prime 1, I got Q2, I put myself at 3. But number 4, so at their top 3, you got 2 in the NFC, 1 in the AFC. Then you look at 4, 5. I mean, we all kind of thought maybe Bomber, but he got blown out by Vig today. I mean, that was a tough one to swallow, and that drops him down. So who moves up into that spot? Is that Clink? Is that Meats? Like, there's another NFC team moving up into there. RD, Faz playing well, but their records just aren't justifying a top spot there. So, you know what? You could potentially say the top 5 right now could be 4 out of 5 NFC. Even though I think long term the AFC is gonna be the better conference, I think I might have the NFC right now being better.
Yeah, I mean, if we recorded this yesterday, my answer might have been different. But after the events of this morning, here's the thing: Prime is playing so well that it almost overshadows a lot of what the NFC is doing. Just because when I watch people play, it just feels like I'm watching someone on a different level at times. Just the way that Prime is winning on both sides of the ball. He's not really doing it on one side. But I think
Sorry, you done?
But I think when you go to the other side, I think where the AFC struggles is the depth. You've got the Browns at 7-3, but they're really 6-4. QB, I mean, good player, but mentally not tough enough right now to really put a claim as far as one of the top players. But you go over to the NFC, geez, you got QP at 10-1. That's 10 straight too, because he lost to Mike week 1. Meats is playing good. Clink playing really well, as you would expect. You got obviously Dan playing really well. Woods is a mirage. Gut is a mirage. He hasn't beat anybody. But I mean, Dom is a sneaky 7-4. So I think I think the NFC right now is you've got to hand it to them. Yeah, they really drop off after the top 7, but I just really don't see after Bombers loss the AFC outside of Prime. I wouldn't like a lot of their chances against maybe the big 3 or 4 members of the NFC. So I'm going to go NFC right now.
Yeah, I'm going NFC for the same reasons. 4 of the top 5 players in the league right now are NFC guys. I think that also some of the better teams in the SML, or some of the better owners in the SML that have good teams, are in the NFC. For example, Clinky, he's a better owner. He's got the Bucks. Whereas Bomber, who might be a same level player as Clinky, he's got the Jets. You look at Meats, for example, who has the Packers, whereas Double Rice No Bean has the Bengals. They're similar.
Prime, real quick, you buying Meats right now?
Yeah.
You buying Meats? Is he a 1-2 playoff winner, or is he a one and done playoff?
I think he's 1 or 2 wins. I think he's 1 or 2 because he's gonna play somebody like Gutta or Dom, and I think his team's better. And he's playing confidently. And when players play confidently, they tend to play more, and they're more invested. And I think Meats is going to win a game or 2 in the playoffs.
All right, just sidebar. I had to see what you thought.
Yeah, I think he's okay. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I do think as the cycle progresses, I think Faz will get better. I think QB will get better. I think Matt's going to stay where he's at, which is good. Good fringe top 5 player. And I think that Bomber should get better if he doesn't make bad team decisions with that Jets team. That Jets team's a little bit of a project, like some of these other guys' teams that, and I'm afraid that this isn't the Browns anymore. So he's got to be a little more calculated with the trades and the aggressive moves he makes to build that team up. And he's a good team builder. I don't think he'll have a problem with that, but it'll definitely be interesting to see how that all shakes out between both conferences. But moving on to the extra point, Matt, what's your top 5?
Real quick, Dan didn't ask me about Meats, but I'm on this show too. With Meats.
You weren't talking at the same time. Good golly.
No, but if I can talk about Meats, I'm going to talk about Meats. Meats right now, every paycheck I get, I'm going to opening Fidelity and I'm buying stock in the Packers.
Whoa.
As soon as Rodgers retires, I'm selling it all. That's my take on Meats.
Wow.
Every last share is being sold when Rodgers retires. Wow. He is done.
I need to see Meats against a good player. I haven't seen it yet, so
he
I'm still holding.
He played Bomber?
I'm still holding.
He lost to Bomber.
Team mismatches, and he lost to Bomber.
That's sad. That is sad.
Team mismatches are huge right now, but when you play a good owner that can take away some of the stuff that Meats does, he's gonna sky kick him. He's gonna play the short stuff. He's gonna play the run. I'm curious if Meats is gonna be able to gonna do it. So I'm not buying.
Good stuff. Colts are winning without having the exact mismatch. Amazing stuff that Prime's doing right now. Extra point now, though. Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, Matt 5 time, and I just want to say, going back to one of the previous topics, I do the show for fun. After last week, I received a lot of threats. Someone's been parking a truck outside my parents' bedroom and turning on the high beams. So I don't appreciate that. I do this for fun, and I'm going to start out here with Clink at number 5. I think that team is absolutely loaded. Prime, you just talked about it. I think that's a team that and an owner like Clink that will survive Brady leaving, but he's got him now. He's playing really well. He's 8-2. He just got married. I can't even imagine what that's like as far as life changing, lifestyle changing, just a routine, honeymoon, all that kind of stuff.
It seems to be helping people though, Matt. It seems to be helping. I mean, look at Fig. Fig all of a sudden becomes, the big bomber killer here after he gets married.
That's true. That might be the trick. That might be something that
maybe
some guys out there might want
it for yourself.
Well, I got the same record as Clink, and I'm not married, so but maybe like someone like Dump. And at number 4, I've got Meats. Again, it's hard to discredit Meats. I know he's the punching bag and he's got thick skin, and I really appreciate that about Meats. But it's hard to discredit him. Yeah, he doesn't really have the signature wins. He did beat Clink though. That's why he's ahead of him. But hey, 9-2. Meats doesn't schedule. It's not college football. He doesn't get to pick who he's playing. He's just playing who they give him, and he's running through them.
Yeah, can I
the
interject?
Biz loss. Yep.
That's something that's interesting. Guys that win games that they're quote unquote supposed to, and sometimes they get discredited for it. We've seen Bomber lose today. He had a dud. Meats really hasn't had a dud against a really bad player. So that's
he lost to Biz.
Biz, okay, but that was a fluke. That was a lot of special teams.
Field goal.
Blocked
How
field goal.
How are you saying that's a fluke if someone else doesn't have a dud game? Did you
watch the game?
Which one? The Biz game? Yeah, I saw it.
There was a blocked field goal, I think a kick return, a special teams fumble, all within like a quarter. I mean, it was a fluke.
Yeah, because he ran a jet sweep instead of giving the ball to Aaron Jones and running it. It was a Meats collapse.
But it was he didn't play that perfectly, but also it wasn't like what Bomber did against Fig. I mean, Bomber got ran out the building. Meats just typical Meats gameplay decisions. But also, Madden definitely aided in that. Whereas Bomber, he just got his butt kicked. That was my point.
That's fine. Yeah. Meats is good at 4. I have no problem with Meats at 4.
Yeah, and you could say Meats should have scored more points to not put himself in needing a field goal to win against a below-average player. But again, I like you said, Prime, everyone's allowed a dud, and his dud isn't as ugly as some others, and that was a fluke. I mean, a blocked field goal, which Biz has actually had a couple of those. He might have something going on down there. At number 3, I've got Dan. Dan was number 2 last week. You can't really fall far when you lose to a guy was 9-1 and now is 10-1 and is an elite player. So I don't fault Dan for that. Great game. It was their first matchup of the season, of the cycle. Dan's going to learn from it as he always does. I expect the second one to be a little bit different. I expect him to make some adjustments and obviously going forward. But QP got the first one. That's going to be a fun battle throughout the cycle. At number 2, and I think Dan and QP is going to be what we wish Faz and Prime would have been. At number 2, I've got QP. I mean, here's the guy that I didn't have him on here last time. I wanted to see more. I did not like the Mike loss. Mike's not a terrible player. He's played me well both games, but I'm not QP either. And QPs can't lose those games. And I needed to see more, and he beat Dan. That's what I needed to see. He's 10-1. I'm not going to put him below Meats when he's 10-1 and he's got the resume that he does, and that's, in my opinion, a bigger win than anybody really has in the league. And number 1, I mean, it's Prime, and it's going to be Prime until he loses, which I think we'll have to wait till season 2 for. But I mean, he's 10-0. He's beaten the pants off of everybody. He has beaten Faz twice. He's got quality wins. Those are Faz's only 2 actual losses in the SML, by the way. He has not lost to another person. And it's clicking on both sides. He's got Baker going well. I think Baker's got like 5 interceptions. He might be the only one in single digits. That's insane. And so it's Prime until he loses, and I don't know when that's going to be.
I love it. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, I just want to say, last episode I was plotting and planning a Prime Dan Super Bowl. Maybe we get the Prime QP Super Bowl. I'd be all for it.
Hey, I have no problems with QP. We played a very chess match like game. No turnovers. Probably the only game in the entire SML that hasn't had a single turnover. It was well played. I'm excited for this rivalry. It's going to be a good one, and I'll be ready come week 18 for him. Don't lose, Q. Don't lose before that, because I want that game to matter. Don't lose.
Wow. Good stuff, Matt. Good stuff, Dan. That is SML Total Access. Good luck, guys, the rest of the season. The playoff push is on. The path to perfection is on for me, and we got some other great stuff happening. So until next time, guys, have a great day.